Lights. Lights are really important because how well your building is lit is very indicative of how much you're going to get done in it. So I'm working on trying to figure out how I want to light the new building. I have a choice. I can either do gigantic CFLs, which you can't even really find anymore. That's what I have in part of the lower part of the existing building. I could do LEDs like this right here. These are 5,000 lumens. You can they're stringable. It's just a plug-in. They replace the old style E28 or E28, the Edison socket. Or I can go for something completely different. Well, figured if I'm going to do something, if I'm going to light this building, I want it well lit and I want to run the power correctly. And I just want to make sure it's done properly the first time, not, string a bunch of lights up because I want lights. So I think that requires some research. I'm very, very happy with these. You can get these. They're basically $20 to $30 a piece, depending on, where you buy them, et cetera, et cetera. But are there better options? I'm not necessarily too hung up on making this the cheapest lighting job. I want this lighting job done properly. Now, one of the things I do not like about these is the fact they have a plug-in. Well, if I'm going to plug them in, that means I have to run electrical outlets up to the ceiling. Not necessarily a big deal, but then you've got white wires that are kind of just chilled out up there, and I don't think it looks very good. Now, you can decide what looks are worth to you. Obviously, my shop is incredibly messy, but hopefully the new building will help me clean this building up to where it actually looks clean. So I've got some other options. So I could do LED like that bulb up there, which those are about, to get good ones, they're about $40 a piece. Or I could do something completely different, and I'll take and show you that. So these are lights I'm going to try. And when I say try, I'm not going to fill up the entire shop with them. I'm actually only going to try these lights. I purchased 3, I have 2. And one of the big challenges with working with LEDs is the technology changes so quickly that a model that exists today will be gone 2 weeks from now. That is the case. I ordered these lights, the Satco or Seiko or however you want to say that. They have now changed the model number, and the third light I will get in a few weeks, because they're out of these, is actually a different model number. It won't be the S29752. These lights right here, they're 7,800 lumens. They are a beehive or something like that. I can't remember the exact term, but the nice thing is they flip down. However, they are a mogul base, which is an E40 base. If you want to compare a regular light socket, which is this right here, to an E40 base, E40 would be something like a street lamp, something along those lines. So what I want to do is I want to try these out. So that means I need to run some lights up into the rafters of the new building. So instead of if I don't want to do this properly, or if I just want to test these, what I can do is I can just buy some really cheap, plastic sockets. And those are $1.97, and this adapter right here was a couple bucks, versus the $10 or $12 porcelain E39 holders that you can't really get locally at, like, say, Lowe's or Home Depot. Typically they're special order, and generally they don't necessarily come with free shipping, so you got to pay some shipping on there. But this is what this light looks like. And we're going to try it out. So like I said, it's got this mogul base, or the E40 base, so it's a much larger base than what would be a normal light socket. This would be like a street lamp, as I mentioned, old dusted on lights, things along those lines. These would be a really good replacement for those, not necessarily new construction, but that's what I'm going to use them as. So actually this base came, and when it came, the lip was too big and wasn't contacting the tab in there, so I actually had to cut it down, but that's fine because this base was cheap enough that this is at least a good test. So what we're going to do is we're going to go plug it into the shop and test it out and see just if it works. All right, so we got it up there and got it plugged in. This is replacing our See if this one has, it's 30. I want to say this was like 2,500 lumens or 3,000 lumens, something like that. I'd have to go back and look. But that one was, I bought this one as the model. Evidently the model was going out on it. I don't necessarily think it's very high quality. It was like 19 bucks, I think. And yeah, there was only like 2 of them at the store. So I just got those to try them out. But let's put you right up here, and you look at the light, and I'll go turn it on. Well, it's certainly bright, and I can tell you it will not work good in low ceiling applications like this right here. But one of the reasons that I'm thinking about these lights is if you think about the curvature of the roof that the new building has, what I can do with these is I can actually adjust them according to the roof. So maybe the ones in the middle would be just out flat, and then the ones on the ends I can adjust to where they're, you know, lights pointing in or something like that. But I can adjust them. So actually overall I'm really happy with the amount of light that it puts out. I think it does a good job. It lights everything up. Like I said, I don't think it would be good in low ceiling applications, but I think in high, you know, when you've got 10-foot plus ceilings instead of an 8-foot ceiling, I think it would do really, really well. It's extremely bright. I'm sure the camera is not catching the full effect of how bright it is. But I think that it will, these are at least worth a test. Like I said, I bought 3 of them. The other one will be in a couple weeks. And then we'll also go ahead. I have some more of these lights right here. I have 3 of those lights. And I've got a couple other fixtures that I want to try out. And basically, I'll run just some extension cords up, or maybe just some Romax up into the ceiling of the new building. And we're going to try out some different lights. We're going to try out some different patterns. Trying out one light's extremely difficult, but if we try out 3, I figure 3 would give me a really good idea how many I need to order. I think I'm going to need at least 18 of whatever I order. So cost will be expensive. You know, if I get 18 of these, you're talking about, you know, $700-800 bucks. Meanwhile, these I think are $90 a piece. But there's some more lumens, so maybe I can get away with fewer than 18. Or maybe the path of light that they cast out is a little bit larger than these right here. One thing that I have noticed with these lamps, I think these are Honeywell's. I've actually had to replace 2 of the total of almost 20 that I have. So 10% because they flicker. It seems to be an intermittent problem, but I have replaced 2 for flickering. These are no longer available. I got these at Sam's. They're a different model now. And like I said, so I mean, the models just continuously change in these lights, so it's extremely hard to even give you a model number, because a model number that exists today may not exist 2 weeks from now. So that's it for this video. I just want to kind of explain the thought process of me thinking about lights. If you have some suggestions for lights for me to look at, I'm more than happy to look at it. But one of the things that I really want to keep in mind is I want to put these lights up there, and I want a really, really long service life, because when I install these lights permanently, I'm going to have to rent a scissor lift, because my 12-foot step ladder is not tall enough to get me to the peak of the roof. And so I'm going to have to do all this in one weekend, and I just take care of it that one weekend. And anytime I have to replace a bulb, I'm going to have to, you know, either figure out something to do in terms of getting up to the ceiling, or just have a couple bulbs go out, or a couple fixtures go out, and then run a scissor lift to, or maybe buy a scissor lift. I'm not really sure, but it's just something to think about, because it's so high up in the air. There's definitely going to be some considerations in terms of longevity. You know, a 10,000 hour bulb is just not gonna, it doesn't mean much to me. I'm looking for at least 50,000 hours out of these fixtures. So, like here in just a second. That's nice. I don't know how many I need. That's just one of them. In fact, I think that does a really good job. Maybe I need, I mean, if that's just one light, I think if I did maybe one on each rafter on each side and then alternated in the middle. So basically I would need, there's a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 rafters. So there's 12, and then 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Or maybe I just need to go ahead and put 18 in here. I'll get, when I get the two other, well, when I get the, I have two. When I get the third one, I'll do a little bit more proof of concept and see what if, you know, 3 of them across lighted up really nice, and I'll reconfigure them to go 3 this way, see what kind of light they put out, and we'll go from there. But I really, I like how those light up. They certainly put off a nice, you know, overall, if you move them, I think if you move them out towards the edge a little bit, they really help. And obviously you can angle the lenses themselves to face a different way. In fact, let me climb up on the ladder and we'll actually fold the light up and see what it looks like. So aside from the fact that it's just blinding to work with, I don't know which one I like better. It certainly casts a little bit more against the walls when you do it like that. But yeah, I'll have to play around with it when I get the last bulb and I have 3 of them. I'm not necessarily sold on these yet. I want to do some testing and everything. But once I figure out what bulb I want, then I can figure out, okay, this is how I want to run the electricity, because it does me no good to run wires if I don't know where I want the fixtures at for the bulb. So just test run number 1. Like I said, if you have questions, comments, leave them below.